During August and September of 2016 we crossed most of Europe. We followed Eurovelo 6 from the Atlantic to Budapest. There is so much to show, I have broken up our trip into 3 separate videos. While crossing France, we traveled along the Loire River and a few other canals and rivers. In the second part we alternated from the south of Germany and the north of Switzerland. During the final part of our trip, following the Danube River, we crossed Austria and several smaller countries into Hungary, ending at Budapest. Crossing Germany along Eurovelo 6 is an overwhelming experience to all the senses.
Germany has all that a cyclist needs. Most of the time you will be on paved off-road trails. You will refuel with all the best food to keep you rolling, and the scenery is spectacular.
You will cross towns frequently enough that there is always a place to restore, to relax or to stay for the night. The Eurovelo 6 route covers a lot of ground. However, staying on the route is very easy thanks to awesome signage along the way.
Beginning in Mulhouse, we traveled along the Rhine River Valley, an area that is very familiar to us. Then we followed south along the Rhine to Basel, Switzerland, called Basel in France, the junction of 3 countries, France, Germany, and Switzerland. Here, for a time, you follow Eurovelo 6 and Eurovelo 15.
Riding along the Rhine River. That is Basel, Switzerland on the far bank.
In our last Eurovelo 6 movie we crossed France for 1,000 kilometers, starting at the Atlantic. Here we continue riding east across Germany along Eurovelo 6 starting at Mulhouse, France.
Before the creation of the EU, it would have been a nightmare of presenting passports at every crossing. Now you just ride across the borders, no questions asked.
If you pause this video on the maps, you can figure out a route to follow.
I thought that somehow we switched rivers. But in Germany, the Danube is called the Donau River. We rode across Bussingen, a part of Germany that is completely surrounded by Switzerland. In Germany, Google Street View does not work, but there are many bike paths along highways.
Stein am Rhein, Switzerland may well be a small village, but it is remarkable for the concentration of well-preserved medieval buildings within such a compact area. The jewel in the crown is the square of the city hall, whose entire perimeter is lined by old houses with magnificent painted facades. Every house has a different architectural structure, the subjects and colors of the murals vary, but the harmony is there. On the banks of the Rhine River, St. George's Abbey is a former Benedictine monastery complex with a museum. On a hilltop overlooking the town, Hohenklingen Castle dates back to the Middle Ages. For a while, late in the day, we thought we would have to hide in a barn, seeing no hotels. Then Tom used his limited German to find out directions to Lochmühle. A perfect place. We had to go off-route a bit to get to Lochmühle. It is a large farm and resort that once was a carriage post house. Lochmühle has a great outdoors restaurant, but beware, you may have to shoo away a chicken from your table. Peacocks, chickens, ducks all roam freely around the grounds. I don't recommend the chicken soup if there are chickens around. That's too cruel.
We began the day by cycling 2 kilometers uphill in the wrong direction. That got the blood moving. After Loch Mule, on a cool morning, we transitioned over a huge climb from following the Rhine to following the Donau River. At around the 250-kilometer mark we finished following the Rhine River, touched the edge of Lake Constance and went over a 400-meter climb up to the Danube River. We then followed the Donau completely across Germany, occasionally dropping into Switzerland for a short stretch. At the top of the climb, there are several crosses. I joked with Shirley that they marked the graves of cyclists that didn't survive the climb.
We got in the habit of enjoying Switzerland when we were there, however in the evenings we stayed in Germany where we got more for our money.
I do not have a clue. Not one clue. Get the joke? Often when you go through the city centers, you'll have a market and a chance to pick up something fresh for your lunch or dinner. If you're going to have a bit of weight in your panniers, I recommend that you should have a low gear because there are a few good hills to climb. This is usually found on bikes with a triple chain wheel. Shirley gained a solid base of riding cobblestone when we crossed Paris in a real hurry. So the bits we encountered around Ulm were no big deal.
Ulm is a city in the South German state of Baden-Württemberg, founded in medieval times. In the center is the huge Gothic Ulm Minster, a centuries-old church. Its steeple has views of the city and, in clear weather, the Alps. The town hall has an early Renaissance facade, murals and a 16th-century astronomical clock. Half-timbered houses line the narrow alleys of the Fischerviertel, an area close to the river Danube. If you hang around the waterfront in Ulm, on the Danube, you'll watch a constant stream of cruise boats pass by. At Rechtrenstein, the Castle Steinberg is the seat of the family from Stein. It was first mentioned in documents in 1331, as Berthold inhabited the castle from Stein. On August 12, 1410 Wolf von Stein sold part of the place which had formed in the meantime around the castle, to Württemberg. Bernard Stein acquires 1,557 all shares castle and village back, so that the whole place is family owned again. In 1806 the place finally fell to Württemberg. In 1817 the castle was demolished except for the castle tower.
You can see how close we follow the Danube in this video. At Neuburg an der Donau, even from the distance, the old part of the town, built on a Jurassic limestone hill, dominates the lovely Danube Valley. This imposing silhouette has remained practically unchanged for centuries. From Neuburg I took a short side trip up to the Kloster Neuburg. The monastery at Neuburg was founded in 1130 by Anselm, a monk from the Benedictine Lorsch Abbey, as a priory of Lorsch. Riding along through the farmland near Grime, we came across tall vines that we had never seen before. Then we found a facility that was processing these vines. I looked around and took a few photos of the operation, but the indoor lighting was not sufficient for a movie. We learned that the facility harvested the hops, Hopfen in German, and packed them into 25 kilograms boxes to be shipped out. Whenever we're in Germany, people talk to Shirley as if she's a local, thinking that she looks of German heritage.
The Eurovelo 6 route hops back and forth across the Danube from Germany to Switzerland. One big bonus of riding eastward is that we often had a helpful tailwind. If you go to Germany, I hope you don't mind the sound of bells. They are everywhere and at all hours, except when it's time for bed.
For ages, Weltenberg Cloister was a monastery for the entertainment of guests, pilgrims and craftsmen. The first concession for a pub in Weltenberg, however, was requested only in 1826, in the then secularized monastery. It is now operated as a pub gasthouse.
As we did the preparations for this tour, we had no idea of how large the buildings were. Regensburg was just another name on the map. We were very impressed to see the Dome of St. Peter, which dominates all the city. The dome is considered the most significant Gothic work in southern Germany. The place is huge and the overall interior length of the dome is 85 meters. The architect that took over supervision over the new cathedral in 1280 was trained in France, and because of this there was an incorporation of French Gothic architectural themes. This included a central nave that divides into 3 sections, buttresses, vaulting, and 2 towers over a facade. Nearing Regensburg, the surface of the Eurovelo 6 was more often hardtop. Do not be disappointed if you do not have air conditioning in your hotel or pension. You will need to leave the windows open at night, and if you are in the city center this is not a problem in regards to mosquitoes.
Tracing the Danube, the Donau, took us across Bavaria. The area of Straubing has been continuously settled for 12,000 years. I am always sad to leave Germany because for my tastes, it is an ideal place to bicycle tour. In the next section we do a fair amount of riding in Austria. We rode off towards the Austria border with the sound of music in our ears, and the fear of mountains in our hearts.